It's time. Thank you for tuning in to The Force Report. I'm T.D. Arnold. My special guest today is Semaj Rashad. He is the author of Tiny Teal Learns to Color, a little crown's search for purpose. He will share with us today all about his endeavors as an entrepreneur. So sit back and relax for your easy listening pleasure. It's time for The Force Report.
Hey everyone, Semaj here. I hope you're having a great new year, and I miss you all. I want to tell you about an awesome project that I've been working on. It's called Tiny Teal Learns to Color, a little crayon search for purpose. It's a children's book, and I can't wait to launch it. It's going to be a Kickstarter project. You're going to love it. It's about a little teal crayon. His mom is blue, his dad is green. He's something in between. So he's a crayon unlike many of the crayons around him, and he's having a hard time trying to find his lane, find his purpose in life. Just like me growing up, I was a Filipino and black kid growing up with mixed parents. I struggled with identity issues somewhat throughout my childhood, and then you got layering on top of that, what am I supposed to do with myself, my life? Tiny Teal finds himself in a situation where he's trying to find his purpose or purposes for life. And so I think this book is going to be great for children and families trying to have meaningful discussions about identity, about purpose, about diversity is really important right now. And I think this book would be a great tool for families to have these sort of meaningful discussions. So I'm launching this Kickstarter very, very soon, and I want you to be a part of it. My goal is to raise $4,500. I think it's doable, but I need support. I need people to back me up as I go into this campaign and be the first people to buy the book and support it and share with their friends. So I look forward to launching this project, and I look forward to you being a part of it. Stay tuned, and I look forward to sharing more with you and with the world about Tiny Teal. Thank you. Love you.
Thank you for tuning in to the Force Report podcast. I'm T.D. Arnold, and today with me I have Semaj Rashad. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Great. I've heard some great things about what you're doing. You're in the Washington, D.C. area and PG County area, Maryland, and I was connected with you through family, and my cousin had told me that she sent me something saying you got to talk to this guy, Semaj. As a matter of fact, you have to put him on the podcast. So I knew that it had to be someone really good. So because she touted you up. So I was definitely excited to have a conversation with you, and I said, wow, this guy's doing some great things, and you're getting ready to launch something. But before we get into that, let's get into who you are, because I think that's the genesis of this: who you are, who your family is, and tell us about your story, and then we'll get into the other side. Who's Semaj Rashad?
Who is Semaj Rashad? Man, that's a question I ask myself not every day, but enough. I ask myself that question enough, and that's kind of how this book got started. But who is Semaj Rashad today? I like to think of myself as a bridge builder.
Okay.
I'm an engineer by education. Studied math and engineering at Bowie State and Morgan State University. From the DMV area, like you said, was born in Oakland, California. My family is pretty spread out. On the West Coast side, where my mom is from, we have Filipino heritage, and we have like a French Canadian heritage. I'm still learning about a lot of my background, but there's a tribe in Alaska called the Inupiaq, I
Well,
believe it's called. I just learned that because of Tiny Teal. Asking my aunt questions.
wow.
Um, so I have roots in Alaska, roots in the Philippines, by way of Zamboanga,
Wow.
Philippines. So Malaysian descent there. Some Malaysian descent there, like my great grandmother. And then on my dad's side, my dad's from Brooklyn, New York, and so his family is has roots in Virginia. We know we we know Virginia and the Dominican Republic and Jamaica. So the family's all over the place. And if you've seen my family, live, if we had like a family reunion, there's even more. There's even
Wow.
I have I have cousins who are like Hispanic and Greek. So it spans the spectrum. So who is Semaj Rashad? I like to be a bridge builder. I like to connect my family together. When I work as a project manager in the technology space, I'm constantly connecting, the client's needs to the developers, to the testers, making sure, we're building a great product. And then when it comes to why I wrote Tiny Teal, I think about education. I want to connect my children to the future. I want to help them become better. And I think stories are a great way to do that. And so that's why I wrote this book. And I've always loved to write. Even when I was a kid in like middle school, I would write like these essays, my thoughts. I would journal, I guess you would call it.
Mm.
Um, but I'm always thinking of different ideas and concepts. So Tiny Teal is a byproduct of that.
So now let's get in. So you grew up in a diverse background with your family. Your on your mom's side, she is, I believe, would you say she was mainly?
It's always easier just to say she's Filipino, but
Oh
there's
yeah,
so
it's
much.
easy. But
There's
yeah,
so much. Yeah.
Filipino can go in is a very broad too. Man, I know that.
Mhm.
I have
Yep.
friends of mine who are, and on your dad's side, it's very diverse on that side.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
wow. So so with you, it's like you're though I call it's like I have a friend of mine. You might have a friend of mine. I call him the Walking United Nations. So,
Pretty much. Pretty much.
yeah, I mean, he's like everything and everybody. So, which is very cool. I mean, so with that, you uh your wife, is your wife also from the area that you're from?
No, she's from well, she grew up here, but she wouldn't claim here. She's from
Yeah.
Schenectady, New York. So her family probably wouldn't let her claim it, but she moved here when she was like in elementary school,
Okay.
and she herself has a um, somewhat of a diverse background, or a diverse background. Everybody has a diverse background.
Right.
Um, but she's mostly black. There's also like Scottish, Irish in there. There's English in there, and the curveball is Sri Lankan. She has I
That
think
is a
her
curveball.
great grandfather came directly from Sri Lanka.
Wow.
So
That's a
yeah.
that is a curveball. I wasn't expecting that.
Mm.
That's cool. So now, so growing up, because as I'm getting into Tiny Teal learns the color, the little crown search for purpose is the book.
That's the book.
Is the book that's going to be coming out, and it's a children's book. But when I went through the background of the story, and as soon as I heard it, the one father, the crown is the depiction of one parent is blue, the other parent is green, and so I
Yeah.
said, "Oh, I know, I can see where this, I see where some may be going here. This is very deep." As a matter of fact, before I talked to you, I I have a friend of mine who runs a library, big library, and I called and said, "Hey, look, I said, let me come by." I went by and I showed the little clip on YouTube, on Facebook that you do, and she thought that was such a cool. Matter of fact, she said, "Wow, look at this." There was several, and there were several of
Wow.
them just saying, "Oh, this is what a great concept. I would love to read this." So even in a library, I mean, from a librarian,
Mm.
that's a big thing, because that would be one of the things that they would love for children. But I said, that made me want to read. I was like, wow, because and I'm not into children's books. I mean, so I mean,
Yeah.
but it was a very, because I think it can touch the hearts. When I look at guys like C.S. Lewis, who wrote the Chronicles of Narnia, which is a children's for children, but it really reached adults.
Mm.
So I think that
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
on to something here. I think it's Charlie Brown is still an adult. uh,
Yeah.
it reaches adults. So tell me what, or should say, who now is this Teeny Teal?
Who is Tiny Teal?
Tiny Teal, sorry, Tiny Teal.
Who is Tiny Teal? Yeah, that's a great question. He's a crayon who has parents who are different, and everyone has parents are different. Whenever you have two people get together, there's gonna be a clash, and everyone can relate to that. Um, so Teal, he probably has an extra challenge with him not really being able to identify with being as specifically blue or specifically green. He's in between. He's trying to make sense of like what can he do with his with
Mm,
his with his future. So he goes out. His The book starts off with "Color the World and Color It Well" is the life of a crayon from Colorsville. So there's from the beginning, there's like a sense that he has to be able to color the world. He has to contribute for his people. He has to contribute.
right.
And he, as a young person, you try to do that. You try to um, some of us try to take on things in our lives, and oftentimes we get pushback, and he gets a little pushback, and he's a little discouraged at first. And I don't want to tell too much, but
Mm,
he wants to find his purpose. He's like me, and that's where I was when I wrote this book. I'm like, I have these creative ideas. I have these things I want to do with myself. I'm working this job. What's my future like? There's many lanes, and I felt like I had to pick one thing. And I think Tiny Teal feels like he needs to, at the beginning, he feels like he has to pick one thing, or he's trying things to pick, and people are telling him no,
mm,
essentially. And we've all been told no before. So he's just another kid just trying to figure out where he fits in the world.
wow. What made you pick teal? I mean, the color teal. I mean, because as opposed to purple. I mean, uh,
Yeah.
it's is it because? And I mean, I guess. I mean, is it?
There's a there's an
What make
interesting
that?
answer for you.
I'm curious to know what made teal the magic color.
I'm gonna grab a pillow. When
Okay.
we first, so my wife and I, we got married in 2011. Didn't have much money, but when we first got our first like little house, our first spot, a lot of the decor was teal. I don't know, maybe teal is one of the more affordable
I
colors or
do
something.
remember.
I have a
I do
teal pillow
remember.
right here. you
Yes.
know there are a lot of touches that we had in our house that was the color teal.
Yeah. I
and
do remember teal was a big thing. Yes.
and we had a blog back in the day called Living as We Are, and I think our colors there might have been teal. One of the colors might have been teal. So it kept coming up,
Mm.
and I just, I it made me think about that color. My wife would tell you I only probably know the primary colors because she's a graphic designer, and so she knows magenta, and she knows the 6-digit codes for all the colors and all that. And I'm like, oh, that's red. She's like, no, that's brick red. That's firehouse red or whatever. So for me to go a level deeper and have like this teal color, that's a win for me. But yeah, it's just give you a little bit more background.
Yeah. No, I mean, I find that because just curious to find out. I mean, well, why Teal? Does the book go on to talk a little bit about who the mom and the green and the blue? Does it go into that?
There's a really brief page or two about them, but it's a children's book, so
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah, yeah.
backstory version of that is not quite there.
Right.
Maybe book two, maybe something else.
Yeah.
There's a way to explore that.
How blue
But
and
yeah,
green.
like
I mean, it can go, it can be endless.
yeah,
It's fascinating. So do you? So with this book, are you self publishing this or
I
okay?
am self-publishing.
Okay, and how's that going?
It's going well. It's going great actually. It's a new process. I love a new challenge, but it took me a while to come to that point that I would self-publish. I I tried to go, down the traditional route. I wanted to explore, and I think that also presents an opportunity, in the creative space to find a way with self-publishing to find a way. I called it Tiny Teal Books because I don't think that this is just going to be the only book. I have friends who want to write books, but the process to publish is all over the place. You have, what's the difference between Amazon KDP versus Ingram Spark versus this platform and that platform? There's a lot of nuances to it, and where there's a challenge, there's also opportunity. So, with me, with Tiny Teal Books, I'm thinking that I want to create a space for other people who really just have a good story that they want to get told. Find a way to like, ease the process for them. So I don't know what that looks like. I'm just trying to get the book out, but yeah,
Okay.
self-publishing for now. Yeah. So the
Self-publishing.
plan is you'll be able to find it on Amazon, and anyone who does the Kickstarter campaign, which launches, it goes from February 10th to March 15th. Anyone who signs up for that, they'll get a book before it's live. Hi, I'm Semaj Rashad, and I'm the author of Tiny Teal Learns to Color, a little crayon search for purpose. And these are my sons. Who are you? Anais
Noah.
and Noah. And we're going to tell you all about Tiny Teal in our Kickstarter that we're launching. Our plan is to bring Tiny Teal Learns to Color to
A
readers.
real book.
Yes, a real book.
Everywhere around there.
Yeah. So let's tell everyone what the book is about. It's about a little what?
Crayon who finds a purpose.
He finds his purpose. Yeah, his mom is blue. His dad is what?
Green.
And he is something in
between.
between. In between, yes, and
In between.
yeah. So he struggles as a teal crayon. He doesn't know what he can color, and he gets in lots of trouble. But he says he wants to go find his purpose, and that leads him to go on some adventures. Why did I write this book? I wrote this book for three primary reasons. Number one, I want families to have meaningful discussions about identity. Thinking ahead about my children and identity, I wanted them, especially in this day and age, to have meaningful conversations as a family about where we come from and what that means. And I wanted this book to be a tool for parents and families and people of all shades, religions, cultural backgrounds, abilities, to have meaningful, thoughtful discussions around identity. Number two, I wanted to just have fun with my kids. I think this is a fun book that kids will love, and that you'll be able to play with verse and discover new places through this book. And I wanted my children to be able to explore the world through a fun character. And then reason number three, for dreamers and readers of all ages, I wanted them to see purpose as multidimensional. Sometimes we think of purpose as one thing. I have to be this one thing with my life. And through the eyes of a crayon, I want readers to be able to explore that they can be and do many things in life. They can go many places, and just because one door closes doesn't mean that that's the end of the world and the end of the line. So, Tiny Teal, he has there's many things that you can do with this story, this book, and I think for readers of all ages, there's something in it for you. So the goal is $4,500. That would cover the expenses to produce the book, but it also includes getting the book to whoever signs up. So I did the math. Anyone who knows me knows that I love a good like spreadsheet. So I did the math on like, and there's a lot of resources out there, but shipping, printing, illustrations, you got your registration, ISBNs, all that stuff. So that's all factored in. If it's just straight up books, I need probably about 225 books sold. But it could be less or more depending on what tier people supporting. So Kickstarter provides a way, if you just want the book, it's like $25, and you get a book, or you get a sticker, and you get some other stuff. And if you want to donate up to even $1,000, you want to pledge $1,000, you could be giving away 60 books to like 2 classes. So they can use the book as a teaching tool. But we have dollar values in the middle for other folks to look at as well.
You and your wife have started up a business, and she's a graphics designer, right? She designed, right? She designed.
She also, she's a graphic designer, and now she's also half stay-at-home mom, half she's in the tea business. Her.
She's in the tea business. I'm gonna have to have her on the show. See all these entrepreneurs in the household. See, I love it. I mean, I love it seeing young people doing it. So yeah, I mean, this is exciting. So you're you're coming home to an entrepreneur, and she's especially someone who can help you design, because my business partner, she designed even my logo for the show, as well as deals with a lot of the writing. And my other business partner, he does some of the editing and some as well, but most of the editing for most of our production. And so when you have a good team effort, and especially with your spouse, that's golden.
If I would have tried to plan it better, I could have, man. I think her creative side, is part of what attracted me to her. And we both love business. My parents were really into business. Both of them have had entrepreneurial endeavors, and are entrepreneurs to this day. And so that kind of is a part of the glue for my family. Everybody's like, okay, either it's a hustle or a dream or a business that they have, across the board, across a lot of my family.
Yeah, I mean, and it's amazing that during crisis, the certain things that deal with entertainment and dealing with creativeness, it grew during hard times. You think of the Great Depression. In the Great Depression, that was when the movie industry was birthed, film industry, the silent movie, when the silent film.
Wow.
It was called escapism. People were paying a dime just to go to the picture show, because that's all they got, or a penny or whatever it was, the dime show, whatever, just to watch a silent movie back in the day. And so, I mean, you think of during the 70s. I mean, the 70s was where we had the economy was terrible, but it was the age of disco. People were partying. I mean,
dancing away there.
I mean, it was I mean, so I mean,
Yeah.
so I mean, you look at, I mean, you look at books were written during wars. Major books were
Yeah.
written during wars. I mean, so
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's part of my story with this book. Honestly, I was really struggling on a project. So I'm a contractor, and I was having a tough time on a project. And as an outlet, I started writing poetry, and it was just a way to process my thoughts, my frustrations, my hopes. And coming out of that, I got into reading. I mean, of course, you're having children, you're gonna read them bedtime stories. And so at the crosshairs of just trying to escape from the day to day, right? I I found another outlet. So there are poems that I've written that some of them I shared on like Instagram, and some of them, I'm just like, hey, this is me just trying to vent. And and Tiny Teal is a byproduct of that season of my life.
wow, I would definitely challenge you to keep the writing going. The writer that I met with earlier today, the poet, one of the questions that was asked him is, do you have writer's block? He says, and I love his answer. He says, no, because when he said, even if I do have a writer's block, I'll write about the block.
Oh wow,
I loved it. I was,
that's good.
yeah, it was great. And so he's always right. He said, today I have writer's block, and the reason that then now he'll start writing just about that. And
Right.
so you're constantly getting in the habit of writing, becoming the if this is a part of who you're becoming, which that's really who you are anyway. So if and you're developing your craft more, continue to write. If your gift is that, I mean, and the creative side is coming, and that I'm looking forward to not only the this book coming out, but the next one and the next one and the next one. Because I mean, I see it. Because it's all coming from you. So, well, my friend, um, your wife's name and your children's name. Let's talk about them.
Let's talk about them. So April is
Mhm.
my wife of a beautiful 9.5 years.
9.5 years. Great. Congrats.
It's unbelievable. Can't believe it's been that long.
Yeah.
And my sons, Anais, Anais, Noah.
Noah.
Um, yeah,
So Ananias and Noah. So, and how old are they?
6 and 4.
6 and 4. Okay. And I believe you told me you have another one on the way.
I do. I do have another one on the way. Most people don't know that, but hey, they know now. Cat's out of the bag. Hey, this is a great way to maybe.
Hey, that's
Cat,
that. Well, they know now. Sorry, you find a lot on the Force Report.
you got the inside scoop here. You heard it first, folks.
Yes, I'm the first to broadcast. See, that's funny. But yes, that's but it's exciting to see new life coming, and you got a new book, new
Yeah.
child, and again, I think there's going to be a lot that's going to come out of this. We're going to try to get this promoted and do it well. And so, anything I can do on my end to help out, I would love to. So. I definitely want to thank you for being on the Force Report today. Uh, Anything you would like to say in closing?
Anything I would like to say? Yes, yes. First of all, thank you. Thank you for having me on here, Tony. Really appreciate you and your listeners for listening to my story. But I think a key takeaway from the Tiny Tail book, if it's taught me anything, is that if you have a goal, if you have a dream that you feel like God's put on your heart, don't let anything stand in your way. It may sound cliche, um, but I've literally like made this project like a stick in the ground. Like I need to finish this, and whatever is on your heart to do, like draw that line in the sand, put it in the ground, and say, I'm gonna finish this, no matter what it takes. And it's taken me like 3 years from writing to getting the Kickstarter. It's gonna launch, this year. It's taken me 3 years to go through the process, and I would just not let anything deter you, whether it's a mindset, whether it's a person. Go after your dreams. Just do it.
Wow. Tiny Teal learns to color a little crayon search for purpose. Here's the book. It's going to be on Amazon.
Amazon, yes, sir.
All right. So we're looking forward to that. And again, I want to thank you for being on the show again today, and I wish you and your wife and your family the best. Stay safe out there during this continued COVID time. I always keep my mask as I go anywhere. But be safe out there. Yeah, we'll be continue to talk more.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
All right. You have a wonderful day.
You too.